Thank you for all those kind words from everybody. Obviously, this is a humbling moment for me because I'm really honored to be your next head football coach here. I think this is a tremendous opportunity, a place that has so much to, has accomplished so much in the last couple of years, but to a certain extent to have the opportunity to maybe wake up the echoes of the past too, and maybe what this looks like and take this into a different era of college football. I got a couple thank yous real quick too as well. Obviously, President Merrick, in the 5 minutes I've been here, I mean, you've opened up my eyes to the possibilities of what alignment and partnership would look like. Anybody that can capture that 4-year-old's attention, you deserve a Medal of Honor. So I appreciate you for that. Dan, the Board of Trustees, and all the help in the recruiting process, and really just from afar, the ability that you've had to, or the willingness and the ability to impact, your program and try to take this into the new age of college football. It's been fun to watch from afar, and I'm looking forward to being a part of that. David Benedict and his wife Lisa for opening their doors to my family, in the recruiting process to come see this fantastic place. I knew there was a reason before walking out into the 27-degree weather in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, why I didn't have a hat and some gloves to wear to the game. I knew I wanted to show my toughness, but I didn't know that was ultimately going to be a selling point to be the head football coach of the UConn Huskies. But I thank you for being really authentic and genuine in your process. That goes a long way with me and my family. And you talk about alignment, and it speaks volumes, and what you've been able to accomplish here is incredible. And I'm looking forward to locking arms with you. You have a lot of great coaches here, and Dan, they mentioned Gino and Dan being able to be part of the recruiting process and reaching out and helping me. And I think the success of those men and what they've been able to accomplish is not only a model for your university, but it's a pillar of what success looks like across college athletics. And it's not often you get a chance to go to work at a place where you get stimulated and you get motivated by the success of others around you. And look, we've been a part of a lot of championship teams where I've been able to be the coach, and I played at Mount Union College where we won 54 games in a row, and for some reason we figured out how to lose one, and then we ran 55 in a row back after that. That's the cloth that I'm cut from, and I want to surround myself with winners, and I think I found a perfect place to do that. So I'm really excited to be a part of that. I think special thanks to my wife, Nicole. A rock star, a great teammate. I think along this journey 11 years ago, what are you signing up for? My gosh, she had no idea. But here we are. I got beautiful children. We got a great family, and man, oh man, if Dad was only as cool as the Husky mascot, we'd be doing some good things. But we're excited to ingrain ourselves in the community. Looking forward to seeing what stores and seeing what the state of Connecticut is all about, and this is going to be a great thing. I'd like to thank Coach Mora, and the coaches that are back working to get this team prepared for a bowl game. Oftentimes you get a chance to take over these opportunities, and a lot of places there's coaches doing the same thing I'm doing today, and the program that they're walking into is not very good. And this is not the case here. The team has done wonders in the last 24 months. And now it's the challenge of how you can take that and take it to the next step, and something I'm looking forward to in putting a staff together that can be able to highlight and enhance what those men have been able to do. Those players have worked tirelessly and really done a great job to put themselves in an opportunity to go play a bowl game here against a great opponent and win that game. And 10 wins is a special thing. Not too many teams get to do that, and I'm looking forward to watching that journey for them. Lastly, I'd like to thank the University of Toledo. I've been through, multiple presidents, multiple athletic directors, and a ton of great people along the way. And sometimes you go on the dance floor and you try to really pay attention to each step that you make, and you're not trying to go to a direct place. You're just trying to enjoy the step and enjoy the process. And man, oh man, I've enjoyed every step of that and every step of the way. We've been able to create a great culture, some tremendous leaders, some tremendous players that have went on and done great things in the National Football League. And ultimately, people that have went on to do great things in life. And I think that it's fair to judge coaches, not today, yes, quite yet, but it's fair to judge coaches based on wins and losses, but I don't think it's fair to judge kids off wins and losses. I think we're ultimately going to be defined as young men and players of what we become 20 years down the road, what an impact to society we can make, what a tremendous husband we can be, what a tremendous father we can be. And that's what we're going to build. That's what we were able to build at Toledo, and that's what we're going to continue to build here at UConn. The AD that hired me, Mike O'Brien, told me right from the jump, right when I got hired, 10 years ago at Toledo that, man, Jay, you're following a really good coach, but I really believe that you can go on and take, this thing to another level, and I feel the same way about that situation as I do now. So this is challenging. It's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I'm ultimately was, really impressed when I got the call to be, just the interest, from your university to have a conversation with me, and then getting to know David and the other people throughout the process here. This became a no-brainer. The alignment, I keep coming back to the alignment and the stability of what that looks like from the top down, and how a football coach or any coach can really parlay that success into success on the field. We're going to put a lot of effort into 353 days out of the year that there's not a football game. I truly believe in holistically building the young man. These are people's sons. These are people's most prized possessions that they turn them over to you. And in 4 to 5 years, they should understand, when they walk across that stage and they grab, the president's hand and shake their hand getting a meaningful degree, that this was the coolest experience of their life. So I feel a tremendous amount of responsibility in that is we sit in the homes of young people and recruit them to this fine university. So we're going to do a really good job of those, like I said, 353 days out of the year. We're going to put a lot of energy in that and continue to build really good people. And then those 12 days, or 6 or 7 that we're able to be out here in this great stadium, you're going to be proud of the product that we put on the field out there. For me, I'm really looking forward to just kind of hitting the ground running here, trying to get started, getting to know the people, getting to know the players, getting to know all of you, trying to find the lay of the land, and trying to make not to make any rash decisions on what it looks like from a staffing standpoint, or in today's world, a player standpoint. So I'm looking forward to getting started, getting my feet on the ground, and getting going, and trying to make the best decisions so we can have a great season next year, and build a program that's built to last. And what that looks like sometimes in today's college athletics, sometimes that's more of an art than a science. But our staff will work really tirelessly to do that, and work really hard to make you proud, and excited to get started. So finally, I just say that we're grateful for this opportunity. Success comes in multiple different ways. We need everybody to lock arms and to buy in. At the city level to the state level to alumni, former Huskies, future Huskies, everybody that's ever touched our program, or anybody that's going to be bringing that we're going to bring into this thing. It's a proud day to be a Husky. I'm super excited to be your football coach, and like I said, I can't wait to get this thing kicked off. So that being said, go Huskies.
Over here, Coach. Thank you. Joe Zone, Channel 3, the CBS station in Connecticut. When you and your wife were going over the reasons why we should take the job, maybe why you shouldn't take the job, what was the one thing that you said, we have to take this job?
The people. I think it always comes back to the people. I think it's always, look, winning's hard, recruiting's hard, retention has become incredibly difficult. If you don't have great people around you and you don't have the ability to have authentic relationships, this is a relationship-based business. It always has been. It always will be. It drives me crazy when I hear that, kids are different. Kids have changed. I don't believe that. I think that sometimes the people that are traditionalists or the adults, sometimes they've changed maybe a little bit. And I think at the end of the day, kids want structure. They want support. They want a vision. They want to be able to stay connected to that vision. And if you don't have great people around you as the coach, you have no chance. So I think I would always go back to the people. And there's great facilities here. There's great things. Campus is awesome. Campus is great. There's so many things but it's not about bricks and mortar. It's about relationships, and it's about the people.
Coach Joe Ruda with the Hartford Current. Just curious, what was it during this process that you maybe saw or heard that convinced you about the potential for this program?
Yeah, I think I'd take it back to, you look for these opportunities. You have different positions or different job opportunities that may pop up, and it's not often that you get an opportunity to be at one that had a winning season, that has the foundation to grow. And I think you always ask yourself, can you make an impact, and can you enhance it, and can you make it better? And I think if the starting point is farther down the line, it makes for an easier transition. This is never going to be easy. Let's not get it confused. But I think a good foundation, what Coach Moore and his staff have been able to do to this point in time, the players in that locker room, and And then obviously the alignment from the administration and how they see this thing going, I think it really aligned with how I see it and what our goals would be.
Welcome, Coach. Roger Cleveland from Hearst Media, Connecticut. I'm just wondering, you're thrown into it at a time when the sport is really kind of has a different atmosphere. What are your priorities for the next 3 weeks to kind of get a foundation under you?
Yeah, great question. I think college athletics, sometimes it's rocky waters right now. I mean, the ship is moving all over the sea, and you have to be able to grab the wheel and stabilize and steer it the right way. I think things that are, you have to decide as the coach what is a little bit of a burning match, so to speak on the floor versus a burning home, and put energy in the right places, because there's really not enough hours in the day to pay attention and move, and chase the wind, so to speak. So, obviously we've got to hit the ground running here of hiring a coaching staff. We've got to be able to get some relationship formed with the current players. We've got to be able to be ready to roll when the transfer portal opens up in January, and get moving as it pertains to building next year's team, because in the last 10 years, my tenure being the head coach, I've seen this thing change on how rosters are built and how they're constructed almost every year. So you got to be able to adapt, you got to be able to overcome maybe the challenges, and I think that's what's staring us right in the face right now.
Jason Damamori from the Hartford Current. Do you construct rosters more with the portal or more with traditional high school recruiting? It seems like you do more of a balance maybe than we've seen here.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd take the same approach I would be to hiring a staff. You have to fit the institution. You have to understand the climate of the current environment that you're walking into. I was at a place for 10 straight years, and we were able to do an unbelievable job, and as good a job as anybody in the country in retaining our athletes. We've had 11 draft picks there since I've been the head coach, and we'll probably have 1 or 2 more this year. Our guys don't leave. When you have that luxury and you're able to retain them that way, it's really easy to continue to cycle in high school player after high school player and really put raw energy into development. We can't get that confused. It's still about development. It's still about providing a plan for a young person to stay connected to and allowing them to really feel that if they do what they need to do, they can be the best version of themselves right here at UConn. So I'd hate to sit here and not tell you the truth. The truth is these rosters turn over year in and year out, and we're into a new world that none of us are really totally familiar with. But the toothpaste is not going back in the tube. This is where we're at, and we're going at rapid speed. We have to be able to put a team on the field next year that's highly competitive, yet not sacrifice what growth and development looks like for a 4 or 5 year run of what this looks like for these student athletes.
Coach Eric Dobratz with the ABC station in New Haven. How important is it to you to build relationships with the high school coaches in this state and to keep the local talent here in Connecticut?
It's the lifeblood of your program. This thing has to be built inside out. It can't be built outside in. I would go back to, I'd start right if I was the head coach at Toledo still, and you asked me the same question, I'd say we'd start in Lucas County. We'd start with the great high school coaches right there in our city. We have a great opportunity to do that, and then from there you branch out. You get a 4 or 5 hour radius of campus, which you really try to, hammer home, and I think that goes a long way. That puts, creates a lot of buzz locally about your team. It puts people in the stands to watch their favorite high school player from, their local cities. But if you can't find them, it's still my job to put the best product on the field on Saturday. Then from there, you got to get on an airplane and go find them. But ultimately, if you can get in a car and drive 5 minutes down the road and find a great player rather than flying to Los Angeles to do it, I'd rather do that. But we got to do what's best for the program. We want to bring in the high school coaches. We want to really support the state. I think there's underrated talent here. I think there's untapped potential. I think building relationships with high school coaches is a critical piece to how you build a program. And we want to support them in anything that they do and any adventure that we could help, learn from a professional development. We'll do lots of clinics. We're going to do lots of camps. We're going to really involve the youth in our community, and we're going to truly build community. And without having those great relationships, I don't think you have an opportunity to do that. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.